I'm excited for the prospect report this week, Stephen, because I know you're going to be talking about someone who got moved at the deadline last week. And he's someone I didn't know a whole lot about, but the more you've written about him, the more intrigued I am. So let's hear it.
I'm a big fan of Jack Thompson, a new defenseman with the San Jose Sharks, part of that Anthony Duclair trade. And I'm honestly surprised a guy like him was moved. And I might be higher on him than a lot of others. But when you look at what he's able to do and the points he's able to put up as a 21-year-old in the AHL, that's impressive. When he left Syracuse, he had 20 or 32 points, sorry, in 46 games. Last year, he had 23 points in 71 games. And he really started to figure it out in that second half of the year. So for him to put up as much offense as we've seen, this is a guy that kind of reminds me of, the way he moves the puck, sort of like a young Marc-Andre Bergeron. And he's a bit bigger. He's 6'1", so he does have a bit of that frame there, but he's not really going to throw hits. His thing is moving the puck, doing things with that, playing on the power play. And when it came to Tampa's system, it just didn't seem like there was a clear path up for him. But with Thompson, he instantly becomes one of the best San Jose Sharks defensive prospects in a pool that has really improved the last 2 years. And I wrote last year in a pre-trade deadline story about how the Sharks really, if they're going to start, selling pieces off and try to bring things in, go and acquire some defensemen. And they went and got Henry Thrun from Anaheim, and they got Shakir Mukhamadullin from New Jersey. So adding Jack Thompson in there gives them another player who's just really good with the puck, and I think could be challenging for a spot as soon as next year in the NHL. Now, I don't think he's a top pairing guy. He's probably a second pairing guy, but in a deeper league, someone who has this experience to play on the power play, who has this experience of putting up a lot of points at kind of every level he's played at, I think is pretty intriguing, especially on a team like San Jose, where the opportunities are going to be open for a few years. They're not close. They've got some good prospects, but they don't have a star goalie in the making here. They still are missing on true number one defenseman, which is why on my most recent mock draft, check out dailyfaceoff.com, I argued they should be going for a defenseman no matter what this year, just because of the fact that they've got some good guys, but nobody great, and that can
Mhm.
change this year. So Thompson does have an opportunity in the next couple of years to kind of seize it and prove what he could do here. So I like him. Again, we've talked about some guys that are some higher name prospects in the last couple of weeks, like Logan Stankoven, Yaroslav Askarov. Thompson's not at that level, but he's a guy in a deeper league. I think could be a really nice pickup.
For sure. I really like the recommendation. And it's funny, like I was a little hard on the Sharks with some of their like deadline behavior, taking on so much salary retention with Thomas Hurdle and then also giving back a couple third round picks. But if you look sort of zoom out, it's like, okay, they also added David Edstrom. They drafted Will Smith last year. They've got 2 picks in the first round, as long as Pittsburgh that doesn't drop and then finish in the top 10, because then that pick's lottery protected. But right now, if the draft was right now, it would be 11th or 12th. So the Sharks could pick like a forward if they get the second pick or something, and then they could also pick one of those high end defensemen in that loaded draft class. So you could add another top end guy to that group. So it's like, okay, I'm starting to see some momentum. I feel like, especially once this draft is complete, I think we're going to look at the Sharks prospect pool and be like, huh, this is looking pretty good. Like I wouldn't be surprised if when you do your summer prospect pool rankings, if the Sharks are one of the biggest risers.
I think so for sure. I think that they're going to have to go target one of those top goalies in this year's class here too, and maybe a goalie next year is the priority because it is looking like a better goalie class next year. But when it comes to the Sharks team, it's just like they're still not close. But if you look at just their center depth, William Eklund, you got Will Smith, you got David Edstrom, you got Philip Bistad. Like someone's going to have to move to the wing. It's probably going
Mhm.
to be Bistad, but like those are some great names. That's some of the best center depth you're going to find of any NHL team right now. But again, this is still a long term thing. Like I know Frank said like he doesn't expect the Sharks. Frank Cervelli, he didn't expect the Sharks to be a true Cup contender until 2030. I'm thinking that's the case, but then it's going to be a few years of really really good hockey when they figure it out.